Not long ago on this channel, we reported on the fact that the Epcot lights over at World Celebration Gardens were finally working after a year of disrepair. Now, it seems that those lights have broken in a completely new and very spectacular way. And now, due to permit filings that we've obtained, we found out that the contractor in charge of those Epcot lights is in charge of another big project for the Disney company. In fact, the next big project at Walt Disney World Resort. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. We need to talk about Epcot because the Epcot situation, despite this headline, this is out of date. And we have another article from That Park Place that we're going to be referencing very quickly. But the situation with Epcot is getting crazy. So here we are. World Celebration ground lights restored at Epcot, yet other area lighting goes awry. This by Marvin Montanaro. I think he'll be joining us in just a little bit. World Celebration has had a rocky rollout at Epcot, from broken ground lights to Communicore Hall's lackluster reception. That was a cafeteria right there that they installed right into the middle of the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. And while Disney has apparently finished repairs on its subterranean lighting fixtures, new illumination issues have arisen, along with some wear and tear that shouldn't be possible for an area that's just a year old. Let's take a look here. We're going to watch this over on X on a very helpful Twitter account called Jonas J. Campbell. Actually, I'm quote tweeting someone else here. Let's take a look at this madness. I'm going to try. Yeah.
Ooh.
Poor old Walt statue and all the flashing lights going on in the area. It's a rave.
Yeah. Disco Walt.
Yeah. Here's a better look at it. The lights in the trees appear to be twinkling quite aggressively. I don't think this is part of a Christmas show right here. Actually, I'm going to get rid of that audio here so no one confuses who owns the rights to this stream right here. That is...
And this looks like a Halloween effect.
Doesn't it?
I don't know.
Something that grinning ghosts might try to pull off.
Ghosts are out to socialize.
Yes. Oh, and here he is, Marvin Montanaro. Marvin, you sound like you have a slight Jersey accent. Is that part of the audio?
It comes and goes.
All right.
From what I've heard.
As you can see in the video above, lights in the trees around World Celebration start to flash on and off, creating a strobe effect. Certainly wasn't part of the show, as some have surmised. It's all part of the show, folks. It's all part of the show. The flashes of light weren't timed with the area's background music. Oh, this would be horrible and tacky if they did it in that way. So, and just so everyone is aware, Marvin, do we need to play this one here to get the desired effect?
Oh, well, that one's about the cracked pavement.
Oh, so the area is also, yep, they have the velvet rope there.
I get in close. This video was taken by me, so yeah, I can kind of walk you through. So they've got these stanchions up on the walkway that are barring guests like from certain little areas of it because the pavement has cracked.
Which is remarkable. So for those of you in the north, heaven help you, in Florida, you don't have pavement cracking issues in the same way that you do everywhere else, where water gets into the pavement, freezes, and breaks the pavement as that water thaws again. It's just something that happens up there in the north. It's not usually something that you suffer with here in Florida. So this is something where it probably shouldn't be happening here
especially for a walkway that's a year old.
Oh my. So let's talk about the latest development here. Now, this is something that happened after they repaired all of the lights on World Celebration Garden. A full year after this thing premiered, they finally had all the lights working. I think they worked for about 3 hours back in December of 2023. 2024, they're finally working. But now we have an article fresh off the presses. You can still smell the scent of newsprint. Epcot ground lighting already starting to break down after refurbishment. This one from Marvin Montanaro here. There it is. They're all repaired right there. Speaking of tacky, sorry.
Oh, you don't like the candy cane Spaceship Earth?
No, I really don't. And that shade of green is not a Christmassy green. I need a darker green.
It looks more like the ooze that might turn 4 turtles into ninjas.
Yeah,
running underneath Epcot.
Yeah, to me, and I know the other ooze was purple pink that did this, but to me, this is the kind of ooze color that you would think thrives on cynicism. The like the giant Twinkie, the size of New York, that
Excellent
they talk
reference.
about in Ghostbusters 2. But is this? Let's see. I'm assuming this one is. Nope. This is the rave footage yet again here. But Lorena was kind enough to send us this. By the way, she got to see Gary Sinise at the Candlelight Processional. Awesome, great voice. But here are the busted lights here. As you can see, it looks like the primary color is supposed to be red here, but we see flashes of other colors here, a little bit of green, a little bit of purple in there. I don't know if they're changing the technology. We have sections out or sections that are completely white with, I'm going to say that's a blue LED, although you could make a case for purple here. And this is something I want to focus on right here. The refurbishment of Epcot took 5 years to complete and cost Disney millions, maybe hundreds of millions. But issues with the new areas continue to spring up, specifically around the center of the park, on top of World Celebration's lighting woes. There's also several roped off areas with cracked pavement and have only been exposed to foot traffic for 1 year.
And then, of course, the journey of water inspired by Moana underground plumbing issues that have led to a persistent sewage-like smell that permeates the area.
I'm only going to push back on you in that I think that sewage smell might have predated Moana Journey of Water. I've heard rumors that it was before that. Is that specifically tied to this? Well, of course, that's 6 years that they worked on it, or 5 years, or whatever it was.
I always associated it with the Moana area because they did have an underground, pipe leak very quickly after it opened, and they had to tear up the sidewalk in order to fix it. But it could predate it.
Yeah. The thing that I ask in a situation like this is, why does something like this happen where Disney, a company that used to be known, like we used to talk about Reedy Creek like it was a good thing because they were good stewards of that contract, of that agreement, that they were allowed to do things that other people were not allowed to do, presumably because they were going above and beyond that Disney touch. I remember saying before everything shut down for the pandemic that people should look to Disney to see how Disney handles the pandemic, and that would be a good blueprint for everybody else. I think that's about the time when I started to realize things don't quite work at Disney the way that they're supposed to. We got a lot of cast members shouting at people. We got barriers up in strange places. We've got a lot of desperation going in the parks, and Disney was not the beacons that they used to be. Now we've got a company where it looks like the cheat is throwing light switch raves here in the middle of the park. By the way, this is a ghastly statue, even in normal lighting. Sinister from every angle. I like to say about that Walt statue.
If we could see it, it would probably.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm new to streaming. This is something that I just picked up here for the first time ever.
No, look, this is kind of odd, especially when you do see it from that odd angle with the odd lighting, and this isn't helping. So, but I'm kind of nauseated now. You were right. I needed that.
I'll take it back off the screen.
No, but it's really weird and kind of, well, I unfortunately had I had the misfortune of realizing Disney was headed the wrong direction for a long time. But you're right. The rest of the world started to notice about the time they were dealing with the global crisis that we had foisted upon us. But
here's a good one. Ken Reihard for $2. Just rename Moana to Smells Like Poo Corner.
Yeah.
Is that like Smells Like Teen Spirit? I mean,
speaking of which, Jim Cummings has a great podcast I was listening to this morning. They're talking about the Sonic 3 movie. So, yeah. So as far as the responsibility question goes, I don't know if you guys realize this. I'm leading somewhere with this because there is a specific company that is actually responsible for the Epcot transformation. It's a company called Whiting Turner. This is a story from Blog Mickey from February 20th of 2022. That's 2/20/2022. That's kind of poetic there. And this is called Project Gamma or Project G2021. This was them trying to fix this. By the way, they knocked out this entire section of Communicore here. Yikes. Walt Disney Imagineering is the owner of the permit that was filed here for this renovation. And the Whiting Turner Contracting Company is the contractor. Whiting Turner is Disney World's go-to contractor for large-scale projects. So I'm imagining Whiting Turner made quite a few dollars off of this. Now, it seems that this project is done, so I don't know if they end up turning it over to Imagineering and saying, hey, you deal with it. But there was a new permit that we've come across filed, well, of all days. Speaking of the idea that Epcot is cursed, this permit filed December 13th, otherwise known as Friday the 13th, on behalf of the Walt Disney Company here in the county of Orange, otherwise known as Orange County here. Whiting Turner is the contractor of note here for property at 610 Dinoland Drive in Bay Lake, Florida. So
maybe it's a different Dinoland.
Maybe it's a different Dinoland. I love you, Marvin. Thank you very much. So it looks like whoever was in charge of the Epcot project here is also in charge of the refit of Dinoland USA into Tropical America's Land. I got to say, that doesn't leave me with any good feelings here.
I don't think it leaves anybody with good feelings. I mean, I'm waiting for the pending disasters to just start arriving quickly, and this project taking 3 times as long as it's supposed to, and walls being up forever and ever and ever.
Well, we just covered on this channel the fact that Dinosaur is not closing at least until January of 2025. January of 2026. It sounds like, based off of Disney's comments here. There are some of the small things that I don't think were well trafficked in the Dinoland USA area. Even though I think I qualified as a kid still when Dinoland made its premiere. Dinoland was not one of my favorite areas there. I was more of a Jurassic Park kid at that point.
But I don't believe it was anybody's favorite area. It was like pop-up carnival parking lot land.
What about people that like pop-up carnival parking lot lands?
Oh, okay.
There is an audience for everything here, and I don't want to give them too hard of a time here. They have to use a contractor, so it might not be Whiting Turner's fault, but it does not leave me with good feelings. The idea that Tropical Americas is going to be running, the same company in charge of Epcot. And the Epcot transformation is going to be in charge of the Tropical America's Land, which is taking forevers here. That was supposed to be the thing that was happening before everything else. And then Josh Tomorrow said something about the Villain's Land taking place first. But as you always know, the enemy of Disney is paying attention to the details.
My question is, are we, like, obviously the construction walls only go up so high. Is my favorite aspect of Dinoland. Are we going to watch that get slowly picked apart? That being the enormous Brontosaurus that stands over the land. Are we going to be seeing that slowly get pulled to shreds?
That's a really good question, because right now, if you look at Magic Kingdom and what's going on there, it's kind of I don't think that Disney is as worried about show as they used to be. And this is one where again, because they cover construction so well, a large crane arrives behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Magic Kingdom. The idea of there being a berm is kind of just gone for Disney. And I get it. There used to be projects that were so big that you could see around the walls. But in this case, it seems like Disney is just in a constant state of construction. Like they were an eternal I-4 over there in the middle of the Magic Kingdom. So
except that they don't, nothing comes about of the construction is the problem. The crane's in place. The crane should be there for the bare minimum amount of time. You shouldn't see this crane. It's not doing anything right now. So there's no reason for it to elevate above the berm. So your statement that they're not worried so much about show, it's inarguable. And look, that paper mache dinosaur, is just going to rot away as it is, because they haven't applied, one coat of paint to that in a very, very long time. In fact, if you just walk around, and I think Marvin occasionally will get to do something like that, or Lorraine or whatever. You can see all the degradation of show, and the fact that they obviously don't care. I mean, it to me, Jonas, that's clear. Marvin, is that clear to you?
Fairly.
Well, this is a company that I think has kind of given up. I don't know that they are capable of doing the things that they need to do. They used to be a company that didn't need to apologize because they did everything well. And now they're a company that is so not used to apologizing that they've fallen into such a shameful place. Forgive me for using the word shame here, but I think it kind of applies. For the charges for the prices that they're charging versus how much value they're delivering, I think maybe that's a little shameful here.
Well,
they can't seem to get the lights working.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.